Hello, hello, hello. It's Michael E. Gerber speaking to you again from Carlsbad, California, the land that God created just for you and just for me. Welcome to Awakening the Entrepreneur Within, getting your legal house in order. I have a wonderful guest for you today. Here I am sitting in a hotel in an awkward place, holding the camera so I can speak just to you. And my guest, Jonathan Page, is in his office. And you can see the difference between my setting and his setting. He's absolutely professional, and I'm just a whirligig doing what I do. I don't know how else to put it to you. But hear me, that's what entrepreneurs do, isn't it? You rise to the occasion that happens. So I've got to do something here. Luz Dahlia, plug it in. Here we go. We're continuing. Don't go anywhere. We're going to plug the phone in. I'm plugged into an iPhone. You can't imagine the confusion this creates with everybody around me. But Jonathan, we're getting to it. We're getting to it. This is absolutely the opposite of getting your legal house in order. So here it is, Luzelia. Look at this. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so folks, right now, I want to introduce you to Jonathan. Jonathan, I want to hear about how you've applied the E-Myth to creating your legal practice in a way that has transformed it to produce stunning results for your clients. Talk to us, Jonathan.
Good afternoon, Michael. It is an honor to be here with you on this show. I'm a huge fan. We've had a huge impact on my life and on my business and on the lives of those that we work with. So we're just privileged, and I'm honored to be here with you today.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Jonathan. Despite the circumstances that we find ourselves in, we had an absolutely spectacular meeting here in Carlsbad at this hotel where we just completed it. Two gentlemen from Mexico who started a company on a whim, and that company has grown now to 15 million in revenue in Mexico with 350,000 customers of theirs. And they're just about to expand it to the United States, to Bolivia, to Peru, to Colombia, et cetera, and so forth. And we had the conversation about how to do that the E-Myth way. Absolutely stunning conversation. But what happened is we got caught behind our clock. And that's why we're doing this in the haphazard way we're doing it. So bear with me. And I'm going to
have them, while he's talking, I can plug you.
Okay. So talk to me, Jonathan, and tell me about your company.
Sure. So I was at a large firm. I billed for every second of my life. And we realized very quickly when I was working with large institutional clients that they really used us in a reactive way. It was kind of like an oh crap moment. And then they would give us a call and we would go to work trying to clean up whatever mess there was. And I felt like we left value on the table. And what I realized is that I wanted us to be more proactive. I wanted us to be able to partner with our clients, not just to help them with the oh crap moments, but to actually get in there and help them build systems and processes that would prevent these catastrophic or expensive legal threats from tearing down their business. And so when we opened our own firm, one of the first books that I had read, and I had read it years before, was E-Myth Revisited. And so I knew a fundamental principle from that book was that you build systems, and those systems run the business. And then you hire people to work the systems. It's not the other way around. A lot of people think you hire people to run the business. But what I learned through reading eMyth is that you've got to build the systems to run the business and then hire people to work the systems. So from day one, when it was just me, I would walk into my office and I would see a $5 million company, even when we had $0 in the bank account. And I would walk in, and at that time, I wore all the hats. But from the very first moment, I was building out checklists and procedures for every position I was handling. So when I would switch a hat into a different position within the company, I would say, okay, well, let me write down exactly what I'm doing in a checklist format, because I know that this is going to be a $5 million company, and we're going to have people that we're going to hire. And I want to make sure I've got a really clear roadmap of what they need to do for their job.
I took the camera off. He's talking.
That's okay. That's okay. I am talking. And so that's what we did from day one. And we started building these checklists. And when we hired our first employee, they were going through our checklist and improving them and making them better. And I was teaching them the eMyth way of growing a company. And so that's how we grew. And because we had that very clear vision of where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do, that's the direction we grew. And it's been a real journey growing to where we've been. And it's just been a privilege. And the eMyth has been a huge part of that process.
A delight, Jonathan. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just great. Yep.
Wonderful. So I'm not going to be on camera. I'm
Okay.
just going to be on voice. And I want to ask you a couple of questions related to the design of your practice as compared to the practices other attorneys have created. What is the difference between doing business with your legal practice and doing business with an ordinary legal practice that hasn't been influenced by the model that eMyth has presented to you?
So a traditional lawyer practice is going to bill by the minute, and billing by the minute has a lot of problems, in my opinion. One is that it puts the business owner in the driver's seat. And if the business owner doesn't know what they don't know, they don't realize that there's legal threats maybe lurking behind the curtain, they're not going to call the attorney, because every time they make a phone call to the attorney, it's a business decision, because they know they're going to be billed for every second. And so it's a disincentive to get the attorney involved. And then there's another incentive that the attorney has right there. If you're a traditional lawyer model, then it's a pretty simple business model. You've got to get X number of associates. Those associates need to bill 8 hours a day. They need to bill X number of hours a year. There's going to be a certain hour rate that they're going to pay per hour. So the model is pretty simple to figure out. But the incentive then is to drag things out, right? Like if an attorney can do things more efficiently because they've got really good systems and checklists in place, and they turn around a project in 30 minutes, that's not a lot of revenue for the firm. So the incentive is in the wrong place, in my opinion. And we all know that, and if you've got incentives in place, like you have employees and you put certain bonus structures in place or compensation structures in place, that's going to incentivize behavior. Whatever metrics you hold that employee by is going to incentivize their behavior. So if you're with a traditional firm and your big metric is how many hours you bill, what is that going to incentivize? It's going to naturally incentivize you to bill more hours, right? Because that's how you generate more revenue for the firm. So we decided to
absolutely clear, Jonathan. Understand from my perspective, this has been one of the chief problems that I have had and that my clients have had over the years working with legal practices, working with attorneys. It's because it's all about billable hours. And so obviously when it's all about billable hours, what do you work toward? Billable hours. So the astonishing experience I had at one time is that I retained a legal firm because of one attorney in that firm. That attorney happened to be the principal attorney who founded the practice. And now he had various associates. And the various associates that he brought aboard were specialists in different areas of legal practice. And so effectively, I said to the gentleman at the very beginning, I know how this works, but I need you to understand how it's got to work for me. I don't want you to bring aboard a specialist on this or a specialist on that or a specialist on the other, because now I'm suddenly not simply compensating you, but I'm compensating 3 others plus you, which means that I'm at a disadvantage in this relationship. So if for any reason whatsoever you believe you're going to have to bring specialists aboard, you're going to bear the brunt of that expense, which means, can you, as a single attorney working with me, have the sufficient knowledge to deal with the various subjects we're going to have to deal with in this relationship? Now, Jonathan, what the guy said to me was, absolutely, Michael, I can absolutely do that. And let me share with you, Jonathan, what happened. What happened was exactly the opposite. I ended up getting 3 attorneys instead of 1. And obviously, my legal fees expanded 3 times. Absolutely the opposite of what I started out expecting. So share with everyone who's listening to us how, in fact, you have been able to accomplish what you've been able to accomplish by minimizing the direct expense associated with what you do and enabling your client to get what they need.
So the first thing we did is we said we weren't going to charge by the hour. So we created a predictable flat fee that we charge every month. It's a subscription model, and it's reoccurring revenue for us, which is great, but it provides predictability to the client, which allows them to better budget for legal. Secondly, we said, well, now that we're not going to do that, let's be more proactive. So we created a whole system around delivering the legal work. And the system is a meeting rhythm. So we do a quarterly meeting with the client, and then we do a bi-weekly huddle with the client every 2 weeks. And we have what's called a priority report that is sent to the client before the huddle that has a list of all their completed projects and a list of all their pending projects. And it has comments in there and who's working on what. According to employment counsel, we've got many attorneys here with different specialties. And so it'll list who those people are and who's working on what, with dates of when things are going to get done and different comments like that. That's delivered to them every 2 weeks. We get on the phone for 15 minutes. We just quickly walk through that and make sure we're on track. Nothing has changed. And then every quarter we do sort of a department level, legal review of the entire company. And so we're more like a legal department for the company when they join our program. We get bolted on and they get access to an entire legal team of different specialties. And on top of that, there's many meetings that happen outside of that meeting rhythm that just are project specific. So if we're working on an employee handbook, then we're going to have a specific meeting that just deals with their employee handbook and determine who needs to be in the room for that on the company side. The HR director, maybe there's a few people within the HR department who are also working on it. And then of course, the employment lawyer here and anyone else. So there's no nickel and diming. And we get to really know our clients very well. And specifically, we want to know what their big audacious dreams are. What is their vision for their company? Where are they trying to go? How are they increasing the marketplace? What value are they providing? What are they on a mission to do with their company? Because once we have a better understanding of what their values are, what they're on a mission to do, what their big vision is out there 10 to 25 years, then we can make legal work towards that. We know what we're protecting, and we know what sort of projects we need to put in place in order to help them propel their business and be wildly successful.
Absolutely exceptional. So, Jonathan, I want everybody to hear what you just said, which is truly a strategic perspective about how to design, build, launch, and grow your legal practice in such a way that it fulfills the need and the desire that every one of your clients must have and be able to articulate clearly to you so that you can serve that end, so you can serve that strategy. But at the same time, you're designing, building, launching, and growing the systemic capability your legal practice must possess. So you're truly taking an entrepreneurial perspective or point of view in order to design, build, launch, and grow what you've grown to do. And in my lexicon, in my relationship with the work we have done over the years with now over 100,000 clients and the millions upon millions of readers that my books have attracted to them, is to effectively create that picture so that countless people in countless different companies can truly create a strategic monologue that they can have with each and every one of their people and each and every one of the clients, the customers they serve. So absolutely incredible. And when we say getting your legal house in order, effectively, I have a complete understanding now, if not at the tactical level, certainly at the strategic level, about the difference that you've made. I'd like you to please share with the people who are listening to us, if we haven't lost everyone, given the catastrophe in recording this, I'd like you to share with each and every one of them just one story of a client that you've been able to have a profound impact on, utilizing the system the way you've created it. Could you do that?
Absolutely. So one of the clients that we've had a really profound impact on was one of the first to join our program. And when they came into the program, it's a big restaurant group that has 1,500, now 1,600 employees. And so they became a member of our program, and we had done the traditional employee handbook for them. We had a lot of different policies and kits, like a departing employee kit, a new hire kit that we had developed, all with a set of legal eyes on it. And we did these projects for them. Like when we do projects for our clients, we're the ones pushing that rock forward. We're not just telling the client, here, this is what you need to do. And so we had a meeting with them one day, and they said, Jonathan, we've got 1,600 employees. A lot of those are waiters and waitresses. And candidly, we're having issues with our managers and claims for harassment. We don't think that the claims are legitimate, but we're just having these issues. And a lot of it's because the managers don't really understand, some of the pitfalls with all of that. And so I asked them, I said, well, what are some of the, what are they complaining about? And they said it's usually touching and language. And even the touching isn't like really bad touching. It's just that maybe somebody put their hand on a shoulder or something like that. So I said, okay. We started talking about it, and we said, and he said, well, can we do something that's like even more robust than employee handbook? And I remember my sons being in Boy Scouts, and they had what's called a youth protection program. And so it just occurred to me, I said, what if we did an employee protection program? Very similar to how Boy Scouts do it, but it's going to be specific to how we protect employees in the workplace. And they loved it. So we built this entire program out that was very specific to the issues they were dealing with. It helped the managers understand, what to do and what not to do and why. And it even put the cost of discrimination and how it ruins culture and all of that kind of stuff. And we called it the Employee Protection Program so that it focused on the right sort of thing, that the employees are really the greatest asset of the company. And then we made a whole procedure around it. So we come every single quarter, and we have an attorney there that does a program with all of their managers, their district managers, their general managers, their assistant managers at all the restaurants. And we walk through this employee protection program. We give them a quiz. And the quiz is intentionally a little difficult, but they're not graded on it necessarily. They're not a bad performance review because of how they answer the quiz. It's just to try to gauge their understanding and see where they might get tripped up in sort of awkward situations that can occur at work. And then it gives us an opportunity to really go and coach them based on the answers to those quizzes. So this does a couple of things. One, the employee protection program puts the focus in the right place and really gives the general managers, the assistant managers, the district managers better context around how to handle employee issues in the workplace. But two, if there ever was a claim, and in fact, they've had 0 claims since we put this in place almost a year ago, 0 claims across 1,600 employees, which is pretty amazing. The other thing it does is if they were to have a claim and we were in a lawsuit, We could go to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, or even if we were in court, like in federal court, we could say, not only do we have an employee handbook, not only do we have a very specific grievance procedure and complaint procedure that needs to be followed, we go even further beyond what even the law requires, and we have an employee protection program. That's how much we care about employees and ensuring that we have an environment and a workplace that's free of harassment. So that's a creative solution that we were able to develop with our clients because of how we have our program. Imagine if we were billing by the hour, that conversation would have never happened. But because we had a flat fee and because they trusted us and they gave us a seat at the table, we were able to walk in and have more of a collaborative conversation on how we can build systems and processes to help prevent legal exposure in the workplace.
But you see what you've also just shared, Jonathan, from a strategic perspective. You've created a product that you can then sell to every company on the planet. In short, you've created a truly strategic outcome that you can deliver to every single company on the planet who has the same concerns, the same considerations that your client did. So thinking systemically in the way that you did leads you to creating product-centric processes that can be delivered exactly the way you produce them for countless other companies. How many companies on the planet, like this particular restaurant, have a employee protection program that in fact can protect them from the very same thing that he complained about that caused you to create it? You follow me?
My guess is zero. We created this with the client. As far as we know, there's nothing like this out there in the marketplace.
That's my point. That's my point, Jonathan. So listen to Michael Gerber. When I say to you, just in this conversation, that you now have created a product that you can take out to the marketplace in a way that's going to provide you with new clients galore, but in a completely different manner that you're currently delivering it, and for completely different size clients than you currently have. So in the process of doing what we've talked about doing, designing, building, launching, and growing a systemic conclusion to every single legal problem any company might have, you've created a standardized process that can enable you to grow your company in ways you never anticipated before. That's just a gift to having the conversation today called Getting Your Legal House in Order. So Jonathan, I just want to thank you for coming with us. I want to apologize for the disrupt to the original way we planned on doing this, but let's talk again in the future. We've got so much to share. Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to say to everybody who's listening in?
I had a lot of fun, and I just think it was really awesome to spend this time with you, regardless of the circumstances. So it's a real privilege, and I'm very grateful for the time that we've spent today together.
Thanks, Jonathan. Take care. So, folks, I hope that you've enjoyed our visit with Jonathan Page. We'll certainly provide you with more information about Jonathan's legal practice. He's currently and posthumously focused his attention on clients who have 7-figure, 9-figure companies. But as I've just demonstrated to you, he can deliver what he has created to every single small business on the planet. We'll, of course, be talking more about that. But of course, you must begin to think like that. Because as you go to work on your company, not just in your company, you're going to be opening doors you never thought you'd open before. So this is Michael E. Gerber saying thank you for joining us on Awakening the Entrepreneur Within. I apologize for the confusion we may have created. Don't hold it against me. You understand, we're just doing it, making the world work better than it's ever worked before. Take care. Bye-bye. I'll see you the next time.